After commanding a lightning offensive toppling the regime of Bashar al-Assad in just 11 days, Abu Mohammed Al-Golani is set to be a major player in Syria's future. The leader of insurgent force Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, Jolani has spent years trying to transform his image from jihadi extremist to a more moderate leader for all Syrians, an evolution that will now be put to the test.
Even though Abu Mohammed Al-Golani has spoken about reconciliation, the group itself still harbors a lot of concerning ideological views.
If Jolani is smart, and he is smart, he's quite smart, he will reach out to other groups and say, we need to have a meeting, we need to start bringing people together.
I think the Islamists have evolved over the years, at least in their messaging. We need to see HTS continue in this policy to prove that they are moderating as they claim to be.
Jolani's rise to power starts in Iraq. That's where he joined al-Qaeda in 2003, leaving his native Syria to fight the U.S. invasion. Jolani was detained by the U.S. military for 5 years in Iraq before returning to Syria. Eventual ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi requesting Jolani establish an al-Qaeda presence in Syria just as the country was descending into chaos. Back on home soil, Jolani formed Jabhat al-Nusra, or the Nusra Front, the militant group quickly becoming one of the most powerful fighting forces in Syria's civil war, and designated a terrorist organization by many Western nations. The U.S. to this day has a $10 million bounty on Jolani.
Jolani is certainly not a Democrat. Let's be very upfront about that. He's an authoritarian.
As Syria's civil war intensified, the Nusra Front became more powerful. So did its leader, Jolani defying orders from al-Baghdadi to merge his group with ISIS. In 2016, in this video message, Jolani severed ties with al-Qaeda too. The Nusra Front was later dissolved, merging with other groups to become HTS.
Even though they may have uncoupled from al-Qaeda, they haven't totally abandoned some of their doctrine that would be a worry for minorities, for women, and also for the West's interest as well.
Jolani has tried to stem those concerns. Consider his public appearances. This 2013 Al Jazeera interview refusing to show his face, calling for Syria to be under strict Islamic law, dismissing the country's minorities.
We sat down together.
To hear, nearly 10 years later, a suit jacket on PBS calling for an end to the terrorist designation, saying his group posed no threat. Jolani, now in military fatigues, promising to protect all of Syria's diverse communities. Jolani preached inclusivity during the group's stunning offensive, HTS issuing statements to reassure Syria's Christians, Alawites, and other minorities.
My take on it is that the Islamists, led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, are really showing maturity. They want the Syrian people and the international community to accept them. They are trying to reassure the Syrian people. No harm to minorities, no revenge.
But for now, there's little sign that terrorist label will be lifted. While welcoming the end of a brutal dictatorship, Western leaders are expressing trepidation at Jolani's newfound power.
They're saying the right things now. But as they take on greater responsibility, we will assess not just their words, but their actions.
After Assad fled the country, Jolani met with Syria's deposed prime minister, discussing what comes next. Jolani's actions now set to chart Syria's future. Can he unite a fractured country? Will his promise of pluralism prove real?
All in all, we have to wait, but for the moment, let's join the Syrian people in this moment of hope and rejoice with them because they finally feel they are free.